y'all could tell me what it is y'all discussed with the governor?
We had a good discussion, and the governor is going to issue a press release on the discussion, so we leave it up to the governor to issue that press release, which I'm sure you will get later in the course of the day.
Okay, anyone else?
No, that's about it.
That's about
Ricardo,
it? Yeah?
so we too are awaiting that public.
Okay.
We too are awaiting the public notification by the governor, and the public will be informed by His Excellency the Governor. This morning we had a session especially for civil servants. They came out in full force, I must say, and I congratulate them for that. Various ministers were present, and we had, of course, guests from abroad. We had the ombudsman from the BVI and the ombudsman from Turks and Caicos Islands. We had the vice chair of the Council of Advice of Curacao present with us, and we had two speakers, two very dynamic speakers from Trinidad. One, the Justice President of the Constitutional Court, Justice Jacob Witt, and we also had a speaker from Trinidad, Mr. Terence Farrell. I will indicate what we had, what we heard from Justice Bob Witt. He spoke about the role of the people in good governance, the role of the people in good governance. He elaborated very much on the Constitution, and in fact, I did an opening word reminding people what the introduction of the Constitution said, and the Constitution starts with "We, the people of St. Martin," and as such, Justice Witt indicated that that framework is in fact was what we as a people decided how our country will be organized. However, he also pointed out that in fact and in truth, the representatives of the people, the people in government, in fact ratified that constitution where the people themselves didn't have much input in it. He spoke of the various ways that the people can influence good governance, of course, via our electoral system. He went over some weaknesses within the electoral system, but that also was tied in with the way that the community perceive what the rule of law is. In that regard, questions were asked about electoral reform, for example. He also indicated that our Constitution has the room for referendum, a tool that is not widely used as yet. However, the possibility to consult the people on very important issues through referendum is part of our Constitution. A very interesting statement that Justice Bob Witt made is that getting votes, and I'm trying to quote from my notes, getting votes is not the same thing as the ability to govern. There he in fact indicated that the people get the government they deserve because they go out to the polls to elect members for parliament, and as such the statement was made, the people get the government they deserve. However, there he indicated what the importance is, the responsibility of the people in electing their representatives. He also indicated there that the knowledge of the people about what the norms and morality of the country is important. So he tied in everything as much as possible. He spoke of the importance of the role of the High Councils of State in assisting Parliament to do their role. However, that Parliament, as the representative of the people, have to take the advices and the reports of the High Councils of State very serious. Many questions were asked from the public after the presentation of Justice Bockwit, and in fact, his presentation and the question tied in very well in the second presentation that we had by Dr. Farrell, who spoke about morality, integrity, and corruption.
We had Mr. Dr. Terence Farrell, who spoke about morality, integrity, and corruption. And he talked about, as human nature, we can, easily get into corruption. But most of us shows the different phases of corruption, and also indicated that corruption is not only in the public sector, but also happens in the private sector. Anytime you have that people abuses their power, their function, or their function or position to benefit a few and not keep the general interest at heart, then the possibility of becoming corrupt is there. But most of all, what the consequences of being corrupt can be for the people, because in the most corrupted countries in the world, you see that poverty is very high. So especially, not only the misuse of power, but the different types of corruption, like grand corruption and petty corruption. For instance, using government workers to, like, say, build your house for you, or using government resources like pens or whatever small things that you take and for your own use of, for the use of your children. That's also petty corruption. But the different phases of corruption has become clearer to everybody. And especially, I would like to stress that this afternoon, or at 6 o'clock, he will give it to the public in general at the Festival Center. So I invite everyone to come and hear what Dr. Farrell will have to say about morality, about our behavior, about integrity, how we should be, and what to do to avoid that we get high on the list of countries that are corrupt. We would like to be a country that has limited or non-existent corruption.
Anybody bingo? Nobody bingo.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas releasing. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
Vitamalt takes care of you. And now, check under the marked caps for a chance to win prizes. More detail on press.
Yes, well, the Ombudsman is one of the High Councils of State, and that is what we have today, an event hosted by the High Councils of State, so the Council of Advice, the General Audit Chamber, and the Ombudsman. It's called the Information Village. This is part one of our session. This is an event that we have for senior civil servants here at the Bel Air Community Center. We have invited two speakers. We have Judge Bockwit, who spoke on the role of the people in good governance, We also have Mr. Terence Farrell of Trinidad and Tobago, and he is speaking on the topic of morality, integrity, and corruption, and the cost of that corruption for society. This is, like I said, the first part. Our second part starts at 2 p.m. this afternoon in the Festival Village. It is open for the general public. The High Council of State have hosted symposia in the past, but usually it has been more of an event for only guests. Now we decided to invite the general public, so the general public can have a chance to ask questions to the High Council of State and the ministries, because we've also invited the ministries at the Festival Village to come and give information to the public on what exactly they do and how they can help the public. So the public has an opportunity here, a very unique opportunity to interact with government as a whole. So all the ministries plus the High Councils of State and some advisory bodies such as the Social Economic Council and the Electoral Council, where they can give the public information on what exactly they do, what they mean, and how they fit into our democratic society. And that's what it's about. It's about participation. Democracy only works when everyone is involved and everyone plays their part. So the people need to know what their part is. They need to engage themselves, educate themselves, and then take it from there and do their civic duty. So that is what this information village that we have is all about. I'll start with the bodies of the High Council of State who are not so close to the public. The Council of Advice, for example. The Council of Advice advises on all legislation, all national ordinances and national decrees containing general measures. We advise government on those. We are government's highest and last advisor, and Parliament also. So that is our role. So we indirectly advise the people while we advise Parliament, because Parliament is the representative of the people. The General Audit Chamber now is the audit of government. They control government spending. They control if government does what they say they are going to do with the money, if that is done effectively, as it so is said. They check if we get bang for our buck, if you may. That's the role of the General Audit Chamber. And then the Ombudsman, that is of the three High Councils, the High Council that is most in direct contact with the people. They control the actions of government. If government's actions are proper, that's why they use the term propriety, that's proper conduct. So once you as a citizen feel you have an interaction with government that was not proper, you can go to the Ombudsman can investigate that, and if they find indeed that there is reason for further investigation, then they go and they can send some recommendations to government and so forth. So that is the role of the three High Councils of State. The Ombudsman has one other role, very important one, the unique one in the kingdom, and that is that of the only institution that can put cases forward to the Constitutional Court. So when there's legislation that might be in contradiction to the Constitution, the Ombudsman can put that forward to the Constitutional Court, and the Constitutional Court will then make a decision on that. Basically, the general public usually says that they want change, they want to enact something, they want to be a part, what they have there isn't working or whatever. I would like to tell the general public, you have the power. You have the power to make that change happen. So educate yourself, come out to this information village. We'll have more of these events in the future. Educate yourself and know the power that is in your hands. And when you know that, when you take action, be a part of your society, then only and only then that you can say, hey, I am making a change. So as my advice to the public would be, make the change, come out, educate yourself, and be the change.
Now, for instance, if people doesn't make it to those events, how can they get in contact with the organization to be able to get some more information?
Well, the events today are being taped, so they will be on the government's page. It will be shown again, but these institutions are here. So the Ombudsman is always there. We all have websites, you know. The Ombudsman has a website, the Council of Advice, the General Audit Chamber. Take a look, go to the websites and read up, see what these institutions are about, see what your rights are as citizens, and yeah, that's the way you can start interacting and getting information.
For those who don't have internet, is there a way that they could call to get...
Of course, there are also telephone numbers, you know, you can call and find out whatever information you need. So we have different avenues The Ombudsman has a walk-in session. I believe it's on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. So there's ample opportunity for the public to engage themselves.
Anybody bingo? Nobody bingo.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
In my opinion, everything is perfect and you would be great for the job. But I see here that there's a 2-year gap in your resume. What did you do?
I was hospitalized for mental illness.
Oh, mental illness?
I've undergone treatment and I have a wonderful family that supports me.
Well, that is good news.
No, it's fine. I'm recovered.
We'll contact you, okay?
For a better understanding of mental health and what you can do to stop mental health stigma, please go to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas really easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
I'm not sure if it's only now that we're speaking out on the fact that children are not going to school. I think now that we are a little bit more established and know which direction we're going in, we're starting and launching the campaign to make everyone more aware. But I know in the past that they've done it as well. They've tried making people aware of the compulsory education law and that they have to adhere to it.
Our task is, as my colleague said, is to reduce absenteeism and also to tackle unexcused absenteeism. For us to tackle unexcused absenteeism, it means that we need the cooperation of the school, we need the cooperation of the parents. A child that is unexcused absent from school, the school reports it to our division. We then follow up on why exactly that student is out of school. Before the school, however, reports it to our division, they have a responsibility to investigate themselves why that child is unexcused absent from school. Once they have exhausted all the means possible to them, then we take over the task, and usually it means that we'll try to contact them by phone first, for example, the parents, followed by house visits if it's unsuccessful, and it always means that we always try to meet with the student and the parent in order to find out exactly why the student is not attending school. The reasons for a child not attending school may vary. It may be social activity, it may be a social problem that they're having at home, and for example, of a social problem, mother and father cannot work and have decided to send the child to work in their place. This is against the law. This is against the law, and we would then encourage the parent to let the child go to school and try to find another way in order for them to generate income, because education is important for that child, and a child that does not have an education, it creates a social problem later on for the community as well, and that child as well will not be performing to the best of their ability with the lack of education. This is the first year that we have been faced with such an issue, and we're currently looking into it and looking for cooperation from also the schools and what's not to see how we can solve this problem. So this is an ongoing problem. Those students that are supposed to be enrolled in a school but the school is too full, we are in contact with the parents and also with, again, like I said, other institutions in order for us to find a solution for this issue.
I need you all to tell me how badly is the situation right now in this particular plan?
From the last report, I think we have, and you don't really quote me on it, I think we have just over 30 students that are still not enrolled in a school, which is down from earlier from the beginning of school, which was 40-something, 44. But slowly but surely we're getting the kids enrolled into the school. As I said earlier, it is an ongoing problem that we're busy trying to find a solution for.
And what age factor are you looking for that you will start from that does have to be make sure that they are in school?
We only deal with the individuals that are between the age of 4 and 18, and the ones, for example, if you're younger than 18 but you have received a starter's diploma, we don't really apprehend those individuals because they have a diploma, in other words, for them to continue. We do encourage them to continue, but they do have a diploma, so they mean they have achieved a certain level of education.
Is that if you all go out on the road and see a student or a child,
correct,
anywhere around, do you go to them and tell them why you're not in school?
Correct. Yes, we do. That's one of the things that we're busy on, and you're going to see it a lot this year, especially this year, because we just got our van. And with the van, we're basically going to drive around schools. We're also going to drive within neighborhoods to find out, to see if we see any children, for example, if they're in uniform, we're going to approach those individuals in uniform that are out of school to find out why they're out. If they don't have a valid reason to be out of school, we're going to escort them back to the school that they're supposed to be. If we see, for example, in neighborhoods, and we see a child that is playing in the yard but is in the age category for compulsory education, we're going to get their information, contact the parents and say, okay, why is that child not in school? The child is supposed to be in school. And we would encourage them to enroll that child in a school because failure to do so is unlawful.